stove in Texas has heated up to become one of the hottest places for Major League Baseball players to land, but it's not in Houston. Corey Seager has set the market. Carlos Correa is still waiting in the wings. We don't know who he's talking to. We're going to talk about this and other hot stove topics on tonight's Locked on Astros.
Hello and welcome to Locked on Astros, your daily Astros podcast. Here are your hosts, Eric the Man Heisman and Brett H-Town Wheelhouse Chansey.
We are Locked on Houston Astros, and we hope that you join us for a daily Locked on Astros podcast. My name is Eric Heisman. You can find me on Twitter at Eric Talks Stros. Find the show at Locked on Astros. Your team every day. Brett, where can I find you at?
They can find me at H-Town Wheelhouse on Twitter and Instagram. They can find me at Stros411 on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Always positive, always Stros.
Thank you for making the Locked on Astros podcast your first listen every day. Whether it's on YouTube, keep on subscribing, keep on giving us a like, and on your way to work, on your way home from work, keep on listening to the audio version on Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcast. Keep on listening to Locked on Astros podcast. So, this has been an interesting, 48 hours?
Yeah.
It seems like everybody's trying to get the moves done, and a lot of the people around the industry said that the GMs had to get deals done by midnight tonight in order for things to get kind of settled before the end of, the December 1st, before the CBA expires. And then if they want to get everything settled. So things could still happen. Carlos Correa is still a free agent as of recording at 8:30 p.m. Central Time on Monday night. But who knows what happens. But the big thing that we got to talk about is the Rangers. The Rangers are spending a lot of money to finish in last place. And I don't know why they're doing this, but whatever. Bryce with the Locked on Rangers podcast, congrats. You're going to finish in last place because you don't have the pitching that you need. Yes, you got Jon Gray. Congratulations. But who else do you got? You don't got anybody. Yes, you got Marcus Semien. Yes, you got Corey Seager now. You spent $500 million for a combined 7 to 10 years, I guess, for those two guys. And you got Cole Calhoun, who is Astros killer, but you don't have any pitching. Yet Jon Gray is great, but who else do you got for that rotation? The Astros lineup is good. The Mariners lineup is good. The Angels lineup is good. The A's, not so much.
Now, here's what I would like to say on that, because I agree with everything you said there, Eric. Way to lay it out. The Rangers are doing all this to go 81-81 if they can reach 500. But when I look at the payroll, the 40-man roster payroll for the 2022 projected payroll for the Rangers right now is $125 million.
That's it?
Yes, that is it.
With these additions?
That is it. That's what it shows. Frankie's Too Loud said these were updated payrolls. They literally had nothing on their payroll, and they still really don't. And so, so the Rangers have money to spend. And I believe someone here says in the comments the Rangers aren't done spending. What if the Rangers go out and get a third infielder? Now, here's the thing. You hit the nail on the head. They need pitching. There is a dark horse, I think, in the Carlos Correa race in the Los Angeles Angels, but they need pitching. The Yankees still are not completely out of it because they could use anybody with a pulse with a better bat than they had with Gallo or Odor or the minor league shortstop that they signed. Carlos Correa is either playing his cards and playing teams, or he's having a hard time finding a suitor that's meeting his demands. It's really hard right now, Eric, to speculate. And of course, when someone listens to this on the next day, on the actual day of Tuesday, and something's happened, then we will update that on future shows. But Eric, here's the question. Is Carlos Correa worth $300 million?
Well, if you look at what Corey Seager is, Corey Seager and Carlos Correa both came in at the same time in 2015. And if you look at They've been kind of similar players. I guess defensively, you would say that Carlos Correa is a little bit a better defender than Seager, and Seager is not a bad defender. I'm not saying that he's a bad defender, but Correa is just a elite defender. He's the guy that has the dynamite arm. And if you look at the raw power, Correa has always been that the raw power guy. If you look at his homers, Correa from 2015 to 2021, 22, 20, 24, 15, 21, 5. That's the shortened season, and 26. So that's the home runs. And if you look at Seager, he's got 4, 26, 22, 2, 19, 15, 16. So if you look at that, if you compare the home runs over they've been playing for the same amount of years, that's 133 home runs compared to 104. And if you look at the batting average, Seager has a career 297 batting average compared to Correa's 277 career batting average. If you compare the OPS, you've got the Correa at 837, and then you have Seager at 870. And if you're looking at the OPS plus, you have Seager at 131 and Correa at 127. So they're a little bit more comparable if you're looking at that. But I wanted to kind of look a little bit more at the what Baseball Savant has and look more at the 2021 season. And something that jumped out to me is the expected batting average for Seager. He had 295, which was the top 4 in baseball. And Carlos Correa had 296, which is top 4 in baseball. But if you look at the expected slugging percentage for Seager, he had 530, which is top 10% of the league. The WOBA, which is the top 5% of the league, and the expected WOBA of 392, which was the top 6% of the league. So I think there's a reason why the Rangers went out there and threw a whole bunch of money at Seager. They went out there and made it rain. But the question is, yes, Seager has been a great shortstop. He has been injury prone, but so has Carlos Correa. If you look at this, they both missed the same amount of time. And so why, if you're going to throw all that money at Seager, why not throw that money at Carlos Correa? I mean, especially if you don't like the Astros, why not take their shortstop from them?
Well, right. So here's what I'm hearing as you're going through all these stats and showing how Correa and Seager are comparable, and we know the Rangers aren't done spending. Evan Grant from, I believe, the Dallas Morning News, or one of the local beat writers for the Rangers, is saying that the Rangers are known to be very interested in Clayton Kershaw, who is a Texas native. So even though they spent $561 million, they are still in on someone like Kershaw. They're probably still in on an outfielder. Can you imagine if they got Kershaw and then went out and got another outfielder and like Chris Taylor? I mean, this would be a complete revamping of the Texas Rangers. Now,
Right.
again, Kershaw would be a huge addition for them pitching wise, but who's on their back end? Are they good in their bullpen? Who are their relievers? What kind of quality do they have to sustain a 162 game season? The Rangers, though, if they got Kershaw, would be one step closer to being actually competitive, because I think everybody's competitive in this division except for the Oakland A's. I think the Rangers bring up the tail end on that with the Angels right in front. But I think it's going to be between the Astros and the Mariners, because the Mariners have gone out and got some key pieces, and they've signed some big players. The AL West, Eric, is stealing the show. It's not the AL East. It's not the Giants of the East. It's not the Mets and the Red Sox. It's not even the Dodgers or the Giants out in the West Coast. It's the American League West that is taking all the headlines, and this is going to be one hell of a division to compete in.
Yeah. So JRM Music asks, what's Seager versus Correa's WAR? This is from Baseball Reference. Correa's career WAR is 34.1, and Seager is 21.3. I think a lot of that has to do with Correa's defense, kind of adding to that, and also the home runs. Chicks dig the long ball. So that's something that you have to take into consideration. So we're going to kind of look at we talked about this in the last show, but do the Astros even have a chance? And what teams are left in a second? And should we even be betting on this even happening? So let's talk about betonline.ag.
So BetOnline has you covered all season for more props, odds, and lines than ever before. As football season continues to march into the playoffs, BetOnline remains the number one spot for all sports action this season. Head to our new updated desktop and mobile website to sign up today and receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Just use the promo code Locked On to receive your bonus. From basketball, football, NHL, boxing, and UFC to your favorite Vegas casino games, get your 50% welcome bonus by using that locked on code and check out all the amazing offers this 2021 season. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite sports. BetOnline, where the game starts. Eric, if I could just bring this in here real quick. I've got someone DMing me right now, not someone who is an official source, but they're looking into this. He is hearing rumors that Carlos Correa has already signed a deal with or is going to sign a deal 10 years, $375 million, but there's no team attached to it. He said he's hearing rumblings of it. He's looking into find out if he can find a valid person like an actual media person to report that. Now, I'm not saying I'm just telling you what someone's sharing with me while we're on the show. So there are rumors flying amok about Carlos Correa having signed or going to sign a 10-year, $375 million deal. That would take him well over what Seager's getting. Now, does that hold much water? Right now, it doesn't hold any water. It doesn't hold any weight. And I'm not saying that I have sources. It's just someone I talked to that's actually from New York that lives in the area. And I know he talks to a lot of people, but
So you're saying it's the Yankees?
No. This guy is saying that he cannot get the team or even a hint at the team, but that it is rumored that he's got a deal that he's going to sign soon. Now, I'm going to bring something else in. Did you see the cryptic Machete tweet about
Yes,
20 minutes ago?
But Machete also said this has nothing to do with Correa. Take it easy. I'm not
Oh,
his agent. We're just
okay.
brothers.
Okay. Well, see, there you go. But this is what makes it fun. You're right. This is what makes it fun, Eric. Because honestly, at the end of the day, I really had Carlos Correa going to the Rangers. I don't think he goes to the Rangers now, obviously, but I really did. And the Rangers have proved me half right because they're out there spending like drunken sailors.
Yeah, where's kind of Falefa gonna play? If
Well, let me tell you, he ain't playing shortstop.
no.
Kiner Falefa is expendable. You got Corey Seager and Marcus Semien. They are a major upgrade from Kiner Falefa.
Yeah,
You
he
can
is tradable. Maybe they'll trade him to
very
the Astros for.
excellent point.
You know what? They might need a starter. Do we have an extra starter we can trade him?
Odorizzi.
Hey, I just worked out a trade.
There you go. Eric, the assistant GM.
Yeah, so let's talk about this real quick, and then I want to get back to Carlos Correa. Robbie Ray is going to the Mariners.
He's gone.
Yeah,
Gone.
he's going to the Mariners for 5 years. Was it 110 million?
I
What
believe
was
it's
it?
110 million, I believe.
Yeah, so that's a big get for the Mariners. So overall, the AL West is getting a lot better. You have the Angels. They went out and got. Didn't they get somebody? Or am I dreaming?
Who's that? Say again.
The Angels. Oh yeah, they went out and got they got Syndergaard.
Yes, they got Noah Syndergaard, which okay, that's one pitcher. Good job. They still need more pitchers. Um, the Angels know how to put together a heck of a lineup, right? But they
Right.
just cannot put a pitching staff together to save their lives.
Oh, they also got Lorenzen, the two-way star. So now they got two players on their roster who can pitch and hit.
Right. And I'm going to address this to go into the conversation so people know where we're starting from. I personally, and now Eric can speak for himself. I personally don't believe, Eric, that the Astros have to go out and make any other big blockbuster moves. The Astros are set in their core positions. If they don't go get a shortstop like Trevor Story or like Chris Taylor, who's a utility guy, they've got a core of group. They've got guys for a stopgap, Aledmus Diaz. You can slide in Jose Siri. Whoever is there ready to take the position until June 10th when Jeremy Pena arrives, because I believe it's inevitable that he's coming up if they don't get a big name shortstop. The Astros do not have to get a top flight shortstop, and they do not have to go get another big name pitcher. I just don't think they have to, Eric.
Yeah, I think that what we're seeing is a lot of the AL West trying to get the Astros. We saw the A's taking a step backwards. They're in selling mode. They're probably going to be moving at some point to Vegas, so they're in rebuild mode, sort of. So you see a lot of people in the AL West smelling blood. Carlos Correa could be leaving the Astros or will be leaving the Astros unless I do want to address a conversation we had on Spaces earlier about will Jim Crane budge from his 5-year policy in a second.
Okay.
But I think we're seeing that a lot of the teams are saying, you know what, the Astros are vulnerable. They're losing Carlos Correa. Yes, they still have a great team, but this is the chance. We can go out and we can take care of business. The Mariners, they almost made the playoffs with the team they had last year. So now they add Robbie Ray. Yeah, and maybe they can add one more piece or two. And then so that's what these teams are thinking about. They're not just thinking about it's not just about the fact that the A's are taking a step backwards, but they're looking at the Astros as being weaker now. The Carlos Correa was a big piece of this Astros franchise, and he is the face of the Astros franchise. He's the captain of the Astros franchise, and if he does walk, if the Astros are not able to retain him, this will be not just from a lineup standpoint, not just from a defensive standpoint, but this from a team moral standpoint. Just losing him would be a big loss for this team.
I agree with that. He is the captain of this team. He is the guy that I've said repeatedly deserves to retire a Houston Astro. He is a guy that needs a statue with Altuve out in Minute Maid Park, out behind the Crawford boxes, just like Bagwell and Biggio were immortalized. But let me address some of these things because people are asking us. Yes, Rayleigh did sign with the Rays. He is gone. Simeon is gone. He is a Ranger. And the Astros, so Uriel said, I think the Astros will get one or two more pitchers. I'm not outside on thinking the Astros will go get more relief pitching. I know Colin McHugh is still out there. I would like to entertain that.
We're not going to have a moment of silence for Brooks Raley.
Oh, I'm sorry. Brooks Raley is gone. We will have a 10-second moment of silence.
This is awkward.
Okay, I think that's 10 seconds. Okay, yes. that was for Round Rock Tim and Alex Magoo on Twitter because they are very busted up that he's gone. But let me tell you, Rayleigh is going to go do big things in Tampa. He was not bad, and he actually did a good job. The bottom line is this. The Astros, listen to me, guys. The Astros and girls, if you're listening, do not have to go get and go spend all their assets. Because if you go do that for Carlos Correa, you sign him to a massive $350, $400 million deal, what are you going to pay Tucker with? What are you going to pay Yordan with? And what the heck are you doing investing in all these young infielders that you've brought up? Have you heard of J.C. Correa? The kid moved up pretty fast last year. You've got other kids, Shea Wickham. You've got, a plethora of guys. You got Pedro Leon. Again, Jeremy Pena. You've got Gray Kessinger, who is a guy that a lot of people like. I mean, this minor league system, Eric, is one of the best, most well put together minor league systems. And let me tell you, you need to pay attention to Corpus because when they get to Corpus, everybody's throwing in the upper 90s. That's like big league baseball. You'll see guys that will make jumps from Corpus to Houston in the next couple of years. And so it's going to be fun. The Skeeters are going to be stacked this year, Eric. They've got a lot of really good prospects, Hunter Brown, Corey Lee. I mean, we don't have to go out and spin big. We've got here without doing that. Right, Eric?
Yeah, I think so. And I think what Jim Crane, somebody says props to Jeff Luhnow for introducing the 5-rule policy to the Astros. And I think Jim Crane is, he's one of those guys that's going to stick to that policy. And before we address this, I want to talk a little bit about DirecTV.
Yeah, so guys, listen to this. This is an amazing deal. Does this sound familiar, though? Before I give you this deal, you got a device that lets you catch the game live, another device that lets you stream your favorite shows. You're watching your sports highlights on your phone, and you got your neighbor's best friend's login for the good stuff. Well, I want to tell you there's a simple way to get all the entertainment you love without the hassle and a great way to finally get your TV together. It's called DirecTV Stream, and it brings your live TV and on-demand favorites together like never before. So you can watch your favorite sports, movies, and shows all in one place. That means no more juggling remotes and no need to buy another device ever again. And the best part, there's no annual contract. That's right. So get rid of the clutter and the confusion and get your TV together with DirecTV Stream. You can learn more at directv.com. That's directv.com. Compatible device required. Context varies by package.
Alrighty. So somebody said that the Astros fans want to be a part of the highest spending teams in baseball so far this offseason. Believe it or not, guys, they are.
We are.
They're number 6.
Yeah.
The Rangers have spent $561.2 million. The Mets have spent $254 million. The Blue Jays have spent $121 million. The Mariners have spent $115 million. The Tigers have spent $77 million. And the Astros have spent $67 million for 6th place. And the Marlins have spent $53 million. And let's talk a little bit about Max Scherzer's deal real quick. That was 3 years for
3 years, 130 million, 43.3 million a year. Here's the kicker.
That's more than the Pirates' annual, like the entire salary right now.
And Eric, he's also getting 15 million for the next 3 years from the Nationals that they owe him. So he's making essentially $58 million for each of the next 3 seasons. And real quick, if I could jot off right here, Isaias Miranda says, let's be honest, the farm system is ranked 29th overall. Let me tell you the problem with the ranking systems out there. The ranking systems only rank the teams that get the high money, high level, most sought after prospects. You're telling me the 29th best, we are the 29th best minors. We have Luis Garcia, who was an unfound prospect. We have Framber Valdez, who nobody knew about. We have Jose Urquidy, budget pitcher, and we got them in our starting rotation. Also, you have Jake Myers. Heard of him? Chas McCormick. Heard of him? Jose Siri. Do I need to make my case any stronger? I think I could go to court and win this against anybody because the Astros farm system, that 29th ranking is BS. It's complete bullshit. I'm sorry. We are more or less in the top half because all of our talent is homegrown. And if y'all need to do some more research into the minor league system. The farm system is tanked, is very full. And that's why it's ranked low because they don't rank it properly.
And guys, a lot of that has to do with the fact that the Astros don't have those. I've said that word several times. They don't have that sexy pick. They don't have the Wander Franco. They don't have the top guys. And the top guys are the reason why the Astros are ranked low. And we have the Corey Lees, and he did make the top 100 prospects, but we don't have enough of those guys because of the fact that we have traded away or we've lost some draft picks over the years. So, and because of the whole conspiracy, not the conspiracy, but the whole trash can scandal.
Okay,
we lost some picks. Yeah,
we did lose some picks, but we still, who projected Jake Myers to do what he's done?
Yeah.
Who projected Chas McCormick?
Right.
Who is talking about, our guys, Corey Lee and Hunter Brown just made it into the upper tiers. They've been in the upper tiers. We know that, Eric.
Yeah. So we have a lot of players who will contribute. Will they be all-stars? No. Maybe. Who knows?
Oh, I think we've got a lot of minor leaguers that are going to be all-stars. But I'm always positive, always Stros, Eric.
Yeah.
But Eric, you and I went to Skeeter's games. You and I were out there, and we got to see it firsthand. There's a lot out there that on a lot of ball clubs would already be playing big league ball.
Okay, I want to address this Chris Mann question because we had this on Spaces and I didn't get a chance to address this. But James Click has made this very clear. They have no intention of moving Alex Bregman to shortstop long term. Short term, yes, he could be a stopgap shortstop for a week and maybe 10 days while somebody's on IL. but he is not a long-term option for shortstop. They like his defense at third base. He's just does a great job there. And with all the injuries he's having just at third base, you don't want him covering all that ground at shortstop. He doesn't have as great defensive ability at the shortstop like he used to. And even then, he wasn't really as great as a shortstop. But I think that he's a great defender at third base. I don't think you're going to see them do that. Now, Diaz, I think that he will be adequate enough to play shortstop until Jeremy Pena is ready. So we'll see.
Yeah, post June 10th. He will come up. Remember, Yordan Alvarez didn't come up until June 10th.
Oh, and
And
he didn't qualify for Super 2, so the Astros have an extra year control before he reaches arbitration by 3 days.
that's true. I saw that. Like, oh yeah, it was crazy. It was like 116. He was at 113. But here's the thing too, and I saw mentioned in that comment. For those of y'all listening, they said something about paying Tucker and Yordan. Now, Yordan is not going to get the lengthy contract that a lot of people think he's going to get. He's going to get a high AAV, but a shorter term deal, probably because of his knees and depending on where they have room for him. Okay. Tucker most definitely is going to garner a huge salary. And if he continues, Eric, to play the way he played last year and has a full season, he's going to be in the MVP voting. He's going to be a Gold Glove voter. He's going to be possibly Silver Slugger, a 35 home run plus guy, he could be a 30-30 guy, Eric. He could easily steal 30 bases. So Kyle Tucker has all 5 tools and is everything that they said he was and more.
Yeah. So who's going to be next pitching coach? It hasn't been officially announced, but it's going to be it's probably going to be Miller. I don't know if it's first.
It's either Miller or Murphy.
Yeah,
It's one
probably
of those
going to be
two.
Miller because he's the guy that's kind of been in the front of things, or Murphy, but it's probably going to be Miller.
Yeah, I'm not sure who the most senior person is out of those two.
Yeah, so it's gonna be one of those two, but they're basically be A and B. So it's gonna be. I don't want to use this phrase, but cat in the hat thing one, thing two.
Right.
That's
right.
basically what they're gonna be, a two-headed horse. That's what Brett Strom wanted, and they're gonna be a great team working with the Astros pitching. And then Damian said, "Well, Diaz offense struggled." Yes, but there's a time where he was hot, and so you ride him when he's hot. Then when he goes through his defense, his offense struggles, that's when you're like, okay, well, who else do we got? So let's see about bringing up Jeremy Pena and see if he's ready, or what other options, or bring up another stopgap, because we can still bring up we can go out and sign Andrelton Simmons, Jose Iglesias. There's some other names that you can go out and get to be that stopgap until Jeremy Pena is ready. I just don't see, unless they want to go all in. And I do want to address this real quick. The Astros still can go all in, but just keep in mind, they only have about 21 million until they reach the current luxury tax threshold. Now, with the owners, Steve Cohen, mostly spending all this money on Max Scherzer, could part of the negotiations strategy and talking about the playoffs, the expanded 14 teams going to playoffs, more teams going to playoffs, that means more money for the owners, more money for the playoffs, for the players, less trading. So this could mean more opportunities for players to make some more money. So could this be a strategy for the owners or the players, maybe to say, hey, we want a higher luxury tax threshold. Salaries are escalating. This is inflation, man. I mean, you're paying Max Scherzer $43 million, and these salaries aren't going down. So maybe part of the CBA is going to be raising that luxury tax threshold. But the question is, everybody says, I think Jim Crane is going to go over the luxury tax threshold to go ahead and sign Carlos Correa. I'm not totally convinced.
If he does, Eric, on our spaces, one or two people suggested, and I agreed with it, and so that's why I'm going to share it. is signing him to a shorter term deal, like a 3-year deal where he's getting, after 2 years, he has an opt out. The first 2 years making $80 million, where he can opt out. And then by that third year, he'll still be right at 30. He can still go get another big deal. That's the only way I see it happening. Crane, from everything I know about Crane, what we've heard about Crane, he sticks to his guns. When he's convinced of something, he doesn't waver. And unless those agents and Correa are able to convince Crane to come off that 5 years, to go into a 7th or an 8th year or a player option or whatever, I just don't see him staying. And I'm not 100% mad if Carlos Correa doesn't stay here because of the years he's demanding. Because, like I said, I think we have people that can fill that spot.
But I have a converse to that. What if he signs that 3 to 4 year deal and he gets hurt, and then he can't play baseball anymore? That's a
It's
huge
better
risk.
than it's
No, that's a
better.
huge risk for Carlos Correa, and he does not want to take that risk.
Oh, you mean, okay. So you mean he signs a 3 to 4 year deal, gets hurt, and then he cuts himself off for more years.
Yeah.
You know what? That is an excellent counter. Wow, Eric, you stumped me. Why you big jerk? No, I'm joking. No, that dude. That is, I didn't even think about that. That does kind of undercut Carlos Correa. But here's the thing. It's an AAV thing. He wants to be the highest paid position player in the league. He wants to be paid higher than Seager. He wants to be paid higher than Lindor. I just don't see the Astros doing that. And here's what you'll have to understand, and I explain this in our spaces. Clubs don't pay for what you've done. They pay for what they project you're going to do. That's why these rookies, these young players like Wander Franco get these huge deals. Even though it's a big discount in the long run for the Rays, they pay them on what you're going to do for me. And what Correa can do for you if he's healthy is be a platinum glove winner, be a clutch playoff hitter, and do the things like put his team on his back, pick up his pitchers on the mound, be the captain, be the cheerleader. So there are intangibles that Carlos Correa offers that I don't think anybody else gives you.
Yeah. And I know people are saying, but Brett said this. No offense, Brett, or to whoever you're talking to, but until Ken Rosenthal says it, or some of these other guys, I just don't. I'm waiting for him to see it. I think that Correa is the type of guy, he's going to be like, I want to wait and see. I want to get the most money. And if
No,
he,
right.
yeah,
And I'm not saying that when I mentioned that earlier, I'm not saying that that's a for sure deal. I'm just
yeah,
saying those are rumblings that are being sent through. It's kind of like, Eric, you remember in school growing up playing the telephone game, and you started out saying, I like pickles on my pizza. And then it gets to the last person and they're like, I don't even like pizza. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot lost in translation. Right.
yeah,
And that's why I kind of gave that disclaimer earlier. I'm not saying there's a source. I'm just saying this is what a buddy just threw at me
right.
as we're live on the show. And who
Yeah.
knows?
And a lot of people keep on saying, well, Eric, you don't want Carlos Correa back. I want Carlos Correa back. He is the heart and soul of this team ever since George Springer left. And George Springer was one of my favorite players ever to watch in Astros uniform. And Carlos Correa kind of became that. I think Kyle Tucker would be my player to kind of cheer on if Carlos Correa leaves. But Correa is just, he's that leader that the Astros need. He was the face of the franchise through the whole scandal. And I just think, but at same point, you can't limit yourself. The problem with these 10-year deals, especially with the big bucks, is that you hamper yourself on future deals. You may not be able to sign a Kyle Tucker down the road, or maybe a Yordan Alvarez or somebody else. Maybe a free agent. You need a closer. You need another starter down the road. Oops, we have Carlos Correa. We can't do it. So that's just some of these things that Jim Crane and James Click are considering right now. So just keep that in mind as you are demanding that they sign Carlos Correa. So the next maybe 24 hours should be interesting. We'll see if there's any movement in this, but and we'll see what happens. But this is also the deadline for the non-tendering players. I don't see the Astros non-tendering any player. The only one I think that they would, and I know you kind of shot that down yesterday, was Rafael Montero. but at the same time, you said he has a pretty dominant arm, but that's a good way to save $3.1 million.
Yeah, but my thing is, if you're not going to sign Carlos Correa, why are you trying to save 3.1 million? You're still under the threshold. I mean, you don't trade for 3 relief pitchers and let all 3 of them go. You've let 2 of the 3. Apparently Montero is there. He has a live arm. He is raw, but the Astros,
I'll put this up for Alex.
Okay. The Astros, with time, it's all good. Story's given a cut of his contract with the Astros to Eric. I heard that Trevor Story is giving Eric Diamond Club seats to where he's going to invite me and one Alex Magoo to the game when we go see Trevor Story take his first swings at Minute Maid Park. But seriously, back on this whole point, Eric, the bottom line is this. Nobody knows what the heck is going on. I mean, we are so dying the wool trying to figure out. No,
this is true.
It is. No.
Keep Carlos, forget Carlos, he's gone. That's basically where we're at right now.
But here's the thing. The reason why the forget Carlos is gone is trending is because everybody assumes that he's priced himself out of Houston, and there's no indication that Jim Crane is going to go past 5 years. Now, a lot can happen when you're face-to-face with somebody. But the things that I know about Jim Crane business-wise, the things that I know about Jim Crane and the way he's run this team, he's going to run it very smartly. And if anybody has anything negative to say about Jim Crane as the owner, saying he's cheap, you don't pay attention to the last 5 years. You haven't seen what this guy has built. He's put the right people in the right place. And a great leader doesn't micromanage. He puts the right guys in there and he tells them, get to work. Bring me a championship. Remember, we have been in 3 World Series the last 5 years. I know we only won 1 of them, and I know there's scandal around that. But what other team can say that since the Giants did it when they had their run? I would like to have the adverse of the winning every other year, but we don't. So we move forward. If Carlos Correa is gone, this team is going to be okay. It will hurt to leave. It will hurt to see him leave. It will suck to not have him on this team. But at the same time, you've got to move forward. It's a business, boys and girls.
Yeah. So anyway, I think that's all we got. If there's some more breaking news later tonight, we may do a short little podcast later on tonight or tomorrow or something. But that's all we got for right now. All we're doing is just waiting to see. And it's not even, will he come to Houston? It's just, where's Carlos Correa going? That's where everybody wants to know. And here's the teams that he can go to right now. Houston, Detroit, Yankees, Angels,
Mariners, Phillies. They have money.
That's a team that hasn't been looking for a shortstop though. But
yeah, but he's better than Didi Gregorius, isn't he?
No, not really. I mean, yes,
Didi Gregorius is older.
Yeah, but they've already put so much money into Didi. They're not going to just.
What about the Marlins after he cut Jeter's legs out from under him?
Jeter is not going to sign him. He is not going to. He's be like, you know what? Let me go ahead and sign this guy. So yeah, that's not going to happen. So that would be such a that's not going to happen. So anyway, so that's all we got for this edition of the Locked On Astros podcast. Make sure you keep on making the Locked On Astros podcast your first listen and subscribe to us on YouTube. Those of y'all listening to us right now, subscribe to us, give us a like, a thumbs up, and listen to us on your way to work on Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcasts. Listen to the Locked On Astros podcast, and we'll be back tomorrow with another edition of the Locked On Astros podcast.